It's a Infowars.com article, and it's from Defense Link, DOD News. I saw some comments saying, I don't believe this, on another site that reposted our article this morning. I actually saw it, not from our site, but somebody else's for some reason, in my email. I was like, oh, that's Infowars. And people are commenting going, what's the proof of this? There's like this default when something's outrageous that people then say it must not be true. It's DOD News. You might have heard of that. That's the Department of Defense News. Very, very frustrating. But that's a story within the story. White House gave ISIS 45-minute warning before bombing oil tankers. That's like Defense News now admits our government helps grow the opium in Afghanistan. Because the answer is, don't let investigative reporters show it, then it's a big story. Just admit it on CNBC, NBC, CNN, and Fox all the same week, right after they killed Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman was writing home about the drug dealing, and he wasn't going to be part of it, so they killed him. They murdered him. That came out. To the Army colonel's credit, he said that, in the autopsy, he was murdered. And so a couple weeks after that happened, they just went on the news and said, we grow the opium. Because they knew the troops were writing home. It was a big scandal because they were denying it. See, now you just go, yeah, we're going to teach your 5-year-olds how to masturbate in public school. We're just going to do it. And we're going to forcibly inoculate them, too, because your kids don't belong to you. And 2 + 2, by the way, does equal 5, or you're a racist. And we're going to ban brown paper bags. White House gave ISIS 45-minute warning before bombing oil tankers. Why did it take 15 months for the U.S. to target the Islamic State's oil infrastructure? And, of course, it was funny to make fun of us and make fun of Donald Trump when we said this was the thing to do day one. I mean, it's a no-brainer if somebody's selling oil and making billions of dollars off of it. 800+ million they've sold just to Turkey. Oh, our gallant ally, Turkey, I forgot. And so only after the Russians blew most of it up would they then start claiming they're bombing some of the trucks, but then they warned them to get out of the trucks first. And the argument is, well, these are civilians. No, they're not. They're in a war zone driving stolen oil to the Turkish border. Did our truckers in Iraq getting bombed by Al-Qaeda, which is ISIS today, did our civilian truckers get warnings when they were getting blown up on those roads? Did our military even try to claim that was a war crime targeting civilians? No, they didn't, because they're delivering munitions and fuel. They're in the war effort. They're a target under international law. Obama is violating the rules of war because he doesn't really want to target them, and that's what we've known the whole time. So there it is, and that's from the Department of Defense News, because, again, they just put it in your face. That's a tactic they engage in. All right, Paul Joseph Watson joining us from Her Britannic Majesty's Albion, London, England. Paul, so much has happened. I just wanted to get you on in retrospective what you reported on from France last week and other big breaking news and your story on drudgereport.com. White House gave ISIS 45-minute warning before bombing oil tankers. And now Obama's in the news saying, okay, I'm going to up my rhetoric a little bit against ISIS. I mean, this is truly sickening.
Well, yeah, he's basically saying that everybody needs to chill out and that ISIS is not a threat. Well, he's been chilling out for about 15 months now, because that's the time period in which the US has not targeted ISIS oil refineries or ISIS oil tankers. Now, bearing in mind, over 50% of ISIS's activities is funded by this black market oil revenue.
And they have nice M16s from America.
Yeah, so 15 months without any US airstrikes on these oil fields. Of course, Russia went in and within 5 days destroyed more than 1,000 tankers. The first and only US strike on these oil tankers, which is financing ISIS's whole operation, took out 117 tanker trucks. So way behind Russia already. And of course, why is this? Well, as we've documented for years, the Pentagon, and this came out in their own documents, foresaw the rise of a, quote, Salafist principality, in other words, ISIS, and they said that that would ensue as a result of arming these jihadist rebels, who are not moderate rebels, even though the media describes them that still every single day. So they knew that by arming these rebels, many of whom defected to ISIS, many of whom gave their weapons to ISIS, that it would lead to the growth of ISIS, and that would help destabilize President Bashar al-Assad, which has been the agenda all along. That's why they left the oil supplies alone for 15 months, because they knew that ISIS couldn't take over parts of Iraq and Syria without that massive financing. So now this article that's linked up on Drudge Report, they're getting a 45-minute warning before the US airstrikes these oil tankers. And of course, the excuse is, oh, we want to prevent civilian casualties, which of course didn't apply when they struck the hospital.
No, that allows them to then park the trucks. And this is what's not in the story, I would add it, because I know this tactic. It allows them to park the trucks inside mosque, inside facilities, where then they're no-go for strikes, so they can then tell the pilots, you can't target. See, so they don't want to tell the pilots you can't target because they get upset and it causes a rebellion, because then the military starts reporting back that it's all staged, as pilots have gone public and already told us 6 months ago. So that's what they're really doing here, is allowing them to take most of these tankers and cache them.
Yeah, and as he said, these US military pilots have come forward and said they're not allowed to drop 75% of their ordnance on ISIS targets because they're not getting clearance from their superiors. So they've got this window of opportunity to wipe them out completely. They're being called back. They're being told not to deploy their full ordnance, again, because this policy has been from the very start, and it's not a conspiracy theory, it's in their own documents, to allow the rise of ISIS to act as a destabilizing force against Assad.
That's Council on Foreign Relations 3 years ago.
Yeah, supporting these al-Qaeda groups, which are not moderate, which rip people's hearts out and eat them on camera, which behead people, which force children to behead people, defect to ISIS, give their weapons to ISIS, and that helps isolate Assad.
But Gloria Steinem says the word mother and father's the problem.
Well, yeah, and then you've got the leftists, of course, saying that any criticism of Islam is anti-American. That's their big meme now. Again, the so-called tolerant left is tolerating the most intolerant religion on the planet, which we can get into after the break.
Most of the InfoWars radio listening audience is aware of the high-quality, affordable firearms available that are made right here in America at hdfirearms.com. One of the most exciting things about hdfirearms.com is the ability to upgrade your AR-15 platform today. They call it their low-profile platform, PVX muzzle brakes, proven to help control muzzle rise. 6061 billet material with Type 3 hard coating. Bolt carrier group for 308 and 556 ARs. Custom Kydex holsters, ideal for concealed carry with .080 thick Kydex to ensure durability. Most competitors' material use .060. Configure yours today at hdfirearms.com. And my favorite, single stage trigger, a home run upgrade for your AR-15 and AR-10 platforms. Find out more at hdfirearms.com today or call 770-485-7015. That's hdfirearms.com or call 770-485-7015.